Hi, everybody. My name is Brad. I'm trying out this vlogging thing for the very first time, so go easy on me. Figured I'd do this conversation this way, where you can see some pretty awesome scenery here in northern Italy. That way, if you don't care to hear what I'm saying or you get tired of my voice, you can put me on mute. If you don't put me on mute, what I'm going to talk about is this fun little word called failure. I'm going to kind of define it, talk about some alternate definitions, give you a little bit of background on myself when I experienced failure, and talk about what we get out of it. So, the definition of failure, just go straight to the dictionary. It's going to say a lack of success. What I like to do, I like to throw a word in parentheses in front of that, call it a temporary lack of success. There's some pretty smart people out there, way smarter than I ever was, ever will be. I'd say basically there's three things you do from almost every situation in life. You win, you lose, or you learn. What we try to do is try and minimize how many losses we take. If you learn something from the time you don't win, when you've got a temporary lack of success, well, that's not a loss. That's a learning experience. So, a little background on me. Been doing EOD, also known as explosive ordnance disposal, for a couple of years. Did a couple of deployments to Iraq, a couple of deployments to Afghanistan. In case you don't know what it is that EOD does, we deal with damaged or hazardous munitions that are in unsafe condition for whatever reason that may be. We figure out how to make them safe and remove them from the area and get rid of them somewhere where it's safe to do so. Avoid hurting anybody or damaging any property in the process. That's the goal. So our motto for such a dangerous job is initial success or total failure. So that total failure is pretty finite. Sounds pretty end-all be-all. And, at times it can be. Really what it's meant to do is to drive home the fact that it's a very risky job and you need to manage risk smartly. What you need to do, try to get it right the first time every time. Of course, no human beings are perfect, right? One such example of where I missed the mark of perfection in Iraq with a real good buddy of mine. I was a team member, so basically means I did almost all the work. I drove the truck, prepped the explosives, drove the robot, put the team leader in the bomb suit, and he went downrange and handled stuff hands-on if necessary. So we got called out to an IED, or at least a suspect IED, I would say is what we'd call it. And get out there, and they said that there are some red wires sticking out of the ground. So do what we always do, drop the robot, I go check it out. 30, 45 minutes goes by, and I'm barreling through the brush, just plowing through everything I can, trying from every direction to see if I can find this thing, and I just can't find anything. I'll tell you, one of the hardest things to find, this isn't my words, this is the words of a great team member of mine, the hardest thing to find on an EOD call is nothing. But I got to that point. The team leader said, hey, you know what? I know you're a good robot operator and you didn't find anything, so let's do this. Let's get in a bomb suit and let's clear this. Maybe it isn't anything. So we start to go that route, get him in the bomb suit, hike him up on the hood of the Humvee. And I drive the Humvee a bit down, in closer proximity to the device or suspect device, so that he doesn't have to walk, all that distance in 80-pound suit, 120-degree heat. I drop him off. I back up, still facing downrange, back to the safe area. I watch him walk closer, and I see him as soon as he gets down where I was digging up, he takes out his demolition charge he had on him, drops it on the ground, pulls the igniter, of course, drops it on the ground and starts moving backwards very quickly. I got some other homies I want to let pass me here. Alright. Anyway, so he pulls the igniter, gets the timefuse burning on the charge, and of course I immediately know that means I missed something. So, of course I don't hesitate, I just throw the Humvee and drive and haul butt down there to go pick them up. I get them up on the Humvee, back up out of there, we get back to the safe area and charge goes off. 320 millimeter projectiles go flying out of the ground, all different directions. So, of course, I was beating myself up pretty good about that one right away, and for weeks, months, maybe even almost a year afterwards. Right there on the scene, and my team leader didn't berate me, and I will say he was not one to hold back what he was feeling. If you thought you did a terrible job, you would know it right away. But those wires were really hard to see, and I never would have saw them with the robot. That's what he told me. Tried to make me not beat myself up too bad, even though he knew I was going to do it anyway. So it was a pretty quick conversation. You know, he told me it's okay, he still trusted me. He'll go out on a call with me any day, anytime. Naturally, that's not the way I felt about myself for a good while after that. Which, you know, maybe practice and train a lot more and try to never let it happen again if I could ever help it. But still, everybody's their own worst critic, right? And we went on to have a whole bunch of successful missions after that. Never happened again. Had a lot of good calls together. Kept a lot of people safe. Took care of a lot of IEDs. That deployment eventually came to an end. A little while later, wind up going back to Iraq. This time as a team leader. And fast forward a couple months in, and we're out there, get called out for command wire IED on the road. We get on scene, and the infantry guys who were there holding security, the guys that had found it, thought they did us a favor by cutting the wire, which is, of course, a bad idea for a lot of reasons and also not helpful. Because now we can't find the damn thing. So we get up in our truck, we get up there, get close to it, drop the robot, looking and looking and looking. Real similar type of situation. I let robot operator go for 30, 45 minutes, maybe a little more. And this robot operator, he was better than I was when I was a robot operator. So he wasn't finding anything, or pretty much wasn't anything there, right? So let him go for a while, and he can't find anything. He's digging and digging and digging. Nasty, muddy road. Nothing's coming up. So drive down closer. Now it's my job to get out of the team leader and go take a look at what's going on and try and figure it out. So that's what we do. Get out of the truck, walk up there, and there's like dried, almost like corn stalks or maybe cattails, because it was pretty marshy all over the road, like straw and stuff. And I go get up close to where the guy said the IED was. So I'm kind of brushing some of that dried straw and stuff out of the way. And a piece of what I thought was straw sticks straight up and down in the air, and real copper colored, kind of like a piece of alternator wire. So I put my charge on it. We get back in the truck. We get out of there, back up to a safe distance. Charge detonates. Makes about a 10-foot diameter crater in the road. So it took me about a year, but I got to the point where I realized that loss that I had the year prior, I could now turn into a learning experience. Because now I knew exactly how my team leader felt before, and I knew how my team member felt right now. So I did my best to do pretty much the same things that my leader taught me. Try to reassure him, remind him, and nobody's perfect. There's no way he was ever going to see that with a robot. Even though this guy could, there was something there, he was going to find it. Except this time, this was impossible to see with the robot. So I reminded him, hey, like I said, nobody's perfect. You're still best damn robot operator I've ever worked with. I still trust you and our other teammate with our lives. And I hope, you still trust us. Conversation kind of ended there on that one. We didn't really talk about it much after that. We did go on to do a lot more successful missions. So, the moral of the story is, you win, you lose, or you learn. Sometimes it takes you a little while to realize losses you had previously could have actually been learning experiences. And really, as long as you eventually realize that at some point, never really a loss, right? It's okay if it takes a little while to learn from it. Sometimes the lesson doesn't present itself right at that time the situation happens. So, always important to remember that. Win, lose, or learn. You only ever completely lose, you never learn. Just like a lot of things that happen in your life, it's up to you to decide which it's going to be.